Hello, and welcome to my near complete collection of FPSs for the N64. The only one I am missing, which I need to complete my collection, is Rainbow Six. But it's a pretty good collection so far. Now let's just run through some of the main ones. There's the Turok line. That started out with Turok 1. Really good game, but only one player. Still recommend it. Then we have Turok 2. It was okay. Not as good as 1, but still pretty good. But what really shone is the multiplayer. Although if you go back nowadays, it's horribly unpolished. But it was really good at the time. Which just whet our appetites for Turok Rage Wars. Which was a multiplayer only cartridge. Really good. Probably only the third or fourth best game for the system. When we played Turok 2, I rented it at the time. I didn't buy it yet. But the multiplayer in it was so good that it just meant Turok Rage Wars, when it was coming out, was a must-buy. There's also Turok 3. The single player isn't really that remarkable. It's okay. It has multiplayer. Not as good as Rage Wars. I'm also going to mention Armorines. It was produced by the same company as Rage Turok. It involved two soldiers fighting bugs. Really overlooked. It was actually pretty good. It's got a really good co-op. Now we'll go over to the gem of the series of the FPSs, GoldenEye. This is the one that started it all. There were others before it, but on a console, FPS really hit its stride with GoldenEye. It was one of the reasons why we bought an N64 at the time, just to play GoldenEye. Now, Perfect Dark is its unofficial sequel, made by the same guys as GoldenEye, and it's pretty much better in every single way. Although there are still fans that say that GoldenEye is better than Perfect Dark, just because Perfect Dark is more of a futuristic game, whereas GoldenEye takes place, in the modern age. So they like that a little bit more. But personally, I think Perfect Dark, best game for the N64. There's also Twine, The World Is Not Enough. That is a sort of a sequel to GoldenEye. It's made by a different company, though. It was okay. I had some problems with it, though. There was bot issues, although it did include bots, which was nice. And we'll go over to Duke Nukem 64. That is basically just a port of the for the N64 from the PC. Then there's Duke Nukem 0 Hour. That is a really good game. It's actually made by the same people that made Twine. Now, most of the game is, the single player part of the game is in third person perspective, but the multiplayer is in first person perspective, and they have some really creative levels. If you want to know how to design a level, you want to take a note from their book. Now we'll move over to the ID games. We got Doom 64, which is not a port. It is an entirely new game. Some of the best graphics you'll ever see, excluding some of the stuff you saw with the expansion pack, but it did some stuff that was unbelievable. Really good game. Then we have Hexen, a direct port. It has multiplayer. You can do 4-player co-op, even. It's okay. Once you beat it, though, once through and played a little bit multiplayer, it doesn't really have the depth, because the multiplayer isn't really designed for multiplayer. It just was thrown in. But still good. Then we have Quake. It only had 2-player multiplayer, which was a very large hindrance, because after playing 2 people or even switching out people, It gets real stale real fast. And then we have Quake 2. Quake 2 had 4-player multiplayer. A little bit better. It's okay, just not the best for the system. Now we move on to some of the other ones. Jet Force Gemini. That was made by Rare. Some of the people that worked on GoldenEye worked on this, but it was a little different division within the company. But it's really good. It's more along the lines of their like Banjo-Tooie and games like that. It has some interesting multiplayer. They're sort of like mini games almost. Different. The multiplayer isn't really that big, but there's some interesting stuff done there. Next, I'm going to show you Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. This is a really good game. It's only single player, but it's really worth checking out. It's lots of fun. After playing through it once, you probably won't play through it again, but it's really good to play through it once. Then we have Dakanta. I can't believe they actually ported this to the system. This is probably one of the worst FPSs ever made. Although the single player is not that bad. I kind of had a problem with the fact that you don't get to play with the sword until at the very end, and the big boss has the sword or whatever. And then, you know, it's named after sword. You should at least have some sword combat. But and multiplayer has no time limit. There's, I believe, 2 maps. It was okay. We had some fun, but not worth buying. Then we have Army Men. This is fun because it has an army feel to it, as well as, you know, a toy feel. You know, you're playing as Army Men. It was lots of fun. This was actually hard to get when it first came out, because it was quite popular within its niche environment. And then there's, of course, Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2. Now, the multiplayer is okay, but it's third person, which makes close combat almost impossible. It's annoying. If you're going to get close up, just run away and take them out long range, because it's just useless. Then there's South Park. Now, this is really bad. The multiplayer is completely unbalanced. It's just a farce show. The single player is, after you've beaten the first level, that's pretty much it. Every other level is identical. They just changed out some of the monsters, changed out some of the environments, and it's just the same all the way through. Then we have Mission Impossible. I didn't really play this that much. There was better stuff on the system. It's a bit more stealthy, and it's third person. Also including Hybrid Heaven. It's okay. It's another third person. And Win Back, that's another third person. Although that's a little bit closer to the first person. And then there's also, I'm mentioning Forsaken 64. Although I don't consider it a first person shooter. Although it is in the first person, you're technically in a spaceship. A very small spaceship, but you're in a spaceship shooting at things. So I didn't really include it. It's interesting. It's if you actually have more than just the 2 level or 2 ways of movement. You have complete 3D movement. You move throughout space because you're in space. So that's my FPS collection for the N64. Bye.